All right, let's dive into one of the toughest but most important philosophical works of the 20th century, Ludwig Wittgenstein's Tractatus. It's a wild ride, so let's get started and see what all the fuss is about.
Right from the get-go, Wittgenstein tells you exactly what he's doing. He's not here to just add his 2 cents to philosophy. No, his goal is way bigger. He wants to draw a hard line in the sand, a boundary around everything we can possibly say, and show that anything on the other side of that line is, well, it's literally nonsense.
So, you have to wonder, what's the problem that needs such a radical solution? Well, for Wittgenstein, it all boils down to one thing. Philosophers don't understand their own language.
Now this is a radical diagnosis. He's not saying philosophers get the answers wrong. He's saying their questions are broken from the very start. You know, questions like, is the good more identical than the beautiful? They sound super deep, right? But for Wittgenstein, they're just knots in our language, basically a form of logical gibberish.
And this really gets at the incredible ambition of this whole project. I mean, Wittgenstein truly believed he had solved the fundamental problems of philosophy, for good. He wasn't trying to join the conversation, he was trying to end it by showing everyone exactly where they'd gone wrong.
Okay, so how on earth was he going to fix this mess? He cooked up this totally revolutionary theory about how our language actually hooks into the world, and it all starts with a simple but really deep idea about what reality even is.
First up, we need to get this distinction clear, because it's crucial. The world is not made of things, like a collection of pens and mugs and people. No, the world is made of facts, like the pen is blue, the mug is hot, Socrates is wise. It's everything that is actually the case. And you can break these facts down into their smallest possible parts. He calls these atomic facts. Think of them as the absolute rock-bottom Lego bricks of reality, the simplest possible ways things can be arranged, which can either be true or false. And boom, here it is, the core of his big idea. How does language connect to reality? Well, a meaningful sentence, what he calls a proposition, works like a picture of reality. It doesn't just say something, it actually creates a little logical model of a possible situation. When I say, the cat is on the mat, my words are painting a logical picture of that state of affairs.
So let's put it all together. It's a pretty straightforward 3-step. 1, the world is just all the facts. 2, our sentences create little logical pictures of those facts. And 3, this is the magic part, for that picture to work, it has to share the same basic structure, the same logical form as the fact it's describing. That's the link. That's how language grabs onto the world.
But, and this is a huge but, this theory has a pretty stunning consequence. I mean, if language can only picture facts about the world, what happens when we try to talk about things that aren't facts?
And this is the question where the whole thing just flips on its head. What about ethics or art? What about the meaning of life? Are those facts out there in the world in the same way that a cat on a mat is a fact? Wittgenstein's answer, a loud, clear no.
So he draws this very sharp line. On one side, you have what can be said. This is the stuff of science, things that describe how the world is. These sentences make sense. On the other side, though, you have what can only be shown. This is where logic, ethics, beauty, and the meaning of life live. These aren't facts in the world, they're more like the framework through which we see the world. And when you try to use fact language to describe them, you just get nonsense.
It's a pretty stark conclusion, isn't it? Our language is this amazing tool for describing the physical world, but it simply can't reach what Wittgenstein calls the higher.
So when a philosopher tries to say something like murder is wrong, as if it were a scientific fact, their language just short-circuits. It's not that the statement is wrong or right, it's that it's meaningless. It's trying to say something that can only be shown.
And that leads us straight to the final, and probably most famous part of the whole book. This is where Wittgenstein tells us what to do when we finally hit that wall at the edge of language.
This part is a real mind-bender. He says that when you finally understand the limits of language, those big problems of life don't get solved. They just dissolve. The question, what is the meaning of life, goes away. Not because you found the answer, but because you realize the question itself was a language trap. The real wisdom is learning not to ask it.
So you might be thinking, hold on, aren't all the sentences in this book also just an attempt to talk about these things? And Wittgenstein's answer is basically, yep. And that's where he introduces his famous ladder metaphor. He says his own sentences aren't philosophical truths, they're just a tool, like steps on a ladder.
The whole point of the book is to help you climb up, to get to a new vantage point where you can see the world and language clearly. But once you're there, once you get it, you have to kick the ladder away.
The book has done its job, and now you have to discard it, because it too was trying to say what can only be shown. And so we land on the final, unforgettable proposition of the Tractatus. The ultimate takeaway from this brilliant, difficult, and totally audacious project is a call for silence. It's a profound recognition that the most important things in our lives, ethics, beauty, meaning, the mystical, all exist beyond the frontier of our words.